My people, some crazy stuff has just happened. The United States of America, alongside Israel, have bombed Iran. This is something we all feared, and Iran has retaliated, at least has started its retaliation. Iran has hit Bahrain, targeting US naval site. This is going to be crazy. Donald Trump made a speech, and I think we need to go through this speech so we can understand what's really happening.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many.
For 47 years, Iran has done all the deadly, crazy targeting American troops. Donald Trump is not necessarily here talking about what Iran is doing right now. He's going back 47 years ago, and it's basis of that he's doing an action today. Does this make sense or not? You let me know. Let's continue.
In many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran
held 443 days, many hostage from the American nation. What happened? Back in time, this man right here, the Shah Mohammad Reza, had just been overthrown from Iran after being the leader for many years. Shah was going through a very difficult time. He was sick. He was going through cancer and needed treatment. One of the best options he had as he was living in countries next to Iran, not in Iran because he was overthrown, was to go to the United States of America and get some of the best options for cancer treatment. At the time, the president in the US was this man here, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter had to make a decision to accept the Shah Mohammad Reza to get treatment in America, but get a possible backlash from Iranian because there was a brand new government in Iran. Jimmy Carter decided finally to accept the Shah in the country. The Shah went to America for cancer treatment, and Iran got very angry about that. Now, the Iranian people and their students went to the street pushing and chanting against America. Some of them went to get into the embassy of the United States of America, going over the embassy and keeping many people hostage for 444 days. What was the issue of the people? The people felt like the United States of America was trying to overthrow the newer government in 1979. Why? Because back in time, in 1952, the USA with the CIA had thrown the government in Iran to install the very Shah Mohammad Reza in power. The Shah was vicious. He was a brutal leader, but he kept the interests of the United States of America alive in Iran. So the people of Iran got angry when Jimmy Carter allowed the Shah into the country to get treatment because they felt like America could be plotting another coup d'etat in Iran. They went to the embassy, which was absolutely unacceptable. Is it acceptable? No, you cannot go to somebody's embassy. It is unacceptable. You're breaching the rules. They kept the embassy and the people for 444 days. The United States of America tried to do a major operation to free these people, but this operation failed drastically. 20th January 1983, this man right here, Ronald Reagan, newest president of the United States of America. What was the demand of the student of Iran? The student wanted, number one, the United States of America to apologize for what they did to Iran. Number two, to send Shah Mohammad Reza back to Iran to be judged. Number three, to return the frozen asset that the Shah had sent to the US out of Iran. Fast forward, 1983, this man right here, Ronald Reagan, president of the United States of America, 20th of January, on the very first day in office, found a deal with Iran by returning the frozen asset of Iran in the United States of America. That is what Donald Trump is talking about. Let's continue.
Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel.
Marine barrage in Beirut. Beirut is in Lebanon. What happened? A terrorist loaded the truck with 12,000 kilograms of TNT. Those are explosive. He drove straight into a military base held by Americans and French soldiers, unaliving over 240 American soldiers and 52 French soldiers. The reason for them was they did not want foreign forces in their country because they felt like the United States of America was taking side in the local politics by supporting Christian Lebanese and not Muslims. Let's continue.
In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon.
2 points important here. Iran killed a lot of its own people in the street because they were protesting. America and other countries said they were innocent protesters, peaceful protesters that were being killed. Well, were they killed? Was that right? Absolutely not. Iran justified this by saying that many of these protesters were actually collaborators of the West, and some of them were secret agents. Is this correct? Well, we don't know. Is this the reason why you killed them? Question mark. Let's continue.
I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
Now, this is another point. Nuclear weapon. It's been a big deal. The United States of America with Israel do not accept that Iran possesses a nuclear weapon. Why? Because they feel like Iran has been very stubborn. And once they receive the nuclear weapon, there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop them.
That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening.
Now, if you obliterated the program in Fordow, obliterate means destroy completely. How could they rebuild what was obliterated completely? That's a big question we need to answer. Was it really obliterated?
They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland.
Ballistic missiles. These are long-range missiles. Sometimes 300, sometimes 700, sometimes tens of thousands of kilometers strike. Why does this scare America? Because Iran, very lately, when the United States of America bombed them, were very much able to resist because of ballistic missiles that they have. They fought very hard, pushing against Israel. Now, when did Iran acquire ballistic missiles? During Iran and Iraq war in 1980 to 1988, Iran was hit by Iraq's Scud missile several times. Unable to respond to Iraq's attack, they had to fund their own ballistic missiles. Initially, they received dozens of missiles from this man here, Gaddafi, the leader of Libya. In return, Iran will send to Libya maritime mines so they can mine against American boats. Number two, Iran received technology from North Korea to develop its own ballistic missiles. It's only in the 1990s that Iran will stop buying ballistic missiles and fervently start developing its own ballistic missiles program.
Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces.
This regime will soon learn that no one should ever challenge the strength and might of the United States of America. So the message must be very clear, not only to Iran, but also to China and Russia.
I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region.
Because Iran has promised to destroy U.S. personnel in the region.
Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future.
So your children will die in this war. It's potentially correct. They will die because it happens in war. But we're not doing it for now. We're doing it for your future.
And it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with His help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death.
So, you military from Iran, lay down your arms. If not, you're going to die.
So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death.
So that's a way to say you shouldn't fight us. Let's make the fight against us easy so you can survive. If you resist us, we're going to make sure you're dead.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Okay, this is probably your only chance for generation. We are coming to your country to bomb your government. This is your opportunity to overtake and take over. This is probably going to be your only chance for generation. So we are not coming to do war against them for you. We are hitting them a couple of times, and it's up to you to come to the street and take over.
For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight.
Post-Trump is to, no president does what I do.
Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Very interesting. Let me know how you feel about this. I want you to comment on the section. We want to hear from you. This is not about me, brother. This is about all of us learning together. What do you understand? What are the dangers? Is this a good move? Should Iran hit back? What is Trump showing and diversing as an idea? God bless.